Good morning. Welcome to Elite Weather. I'm Mr. G, your weather forecaster today. And we got a big weather forecast to talk about. Quite a doozy. A lot of crazy stuff going on out there in this week's weather forecast. So let's jump right on into it. I hope everybody is having a good Wednesday today as we have reached our midweek point. And also leave your likes, comments, and subscribe to the channel if you find this information valuable or at least entertaining at the least. So let's jump into things right now as we take a look at our current radar situation. We have some snow falling parts across of the Great Lakes in the upper Midwest. So we're seeing snow through parts of Iowa and into northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, and Michigan as well. And down further to the south along the Gulf Coast, we have an old stationary front that is leaving some rain showers and some thunderstorms. A few isolated severe storms might be possible with this activity as well, as this front slowly, gradually drops down further to the south. Eventually, we'll see it across South Florida, where we can see some thunderstorms down along South Florida, like towards Miami and Naples and Fort Myers. And then on the West Coast, we have our California storm that's dumping heavy snow through the Sierra Nevada and the Rockies, and heavy rain along the coast in Northern California that's going to eventually be spreading down to Southern California as well. And we could see some thunder in the forecast out there as well. So that is a look at our current radar. Here's the satellite. There's that big West Coast storm, very deep area of low pressure out there. And you can see that intensification that's going on. And also, you see how you have these polka dot clouds? That's cold air that's being pulled into the storm. A lot of instability. That's why we could see thunderstorms on the West Coast as well. Snow throughout the Rockies and the Sierra Nevada. Here is our upper Midwestern front right here, our area of low pressure there in southern Canada that's bringing that snow across parts of the Midwest, and then our system down along the Gulf Coast with those showers and storms just offshore as well and onshore. So we're seeing our frontal boundary right about here with those showers and storms. All right, so here is our troublemaker for the week. And this storm will be on Friday when it moves into the upper Midwest. And we're going to be seeing a wild scenario with this storm system. Snow across Minnesota and the plains and high plains. Lots of snow, 8 inches possible across the upper Midwest, maybe a foot in some locations. Severe thunderstorms, especially down across the Midwest here from Texas all the way up to Iowa and Illinois, even into Wisconsin. Minnesota, we could see some thunderstorms this week. This as we go into Friday, the first thunderstorms of the year. I don't think we're going to see severe storms in Minnesota, but some thunder in the forecast is going to be possible. So we're going to be seeing that, and we're going to be dealing with that severe weather throughout much of the Midwest and into the South and the Southeast eventually as well. So a very dynamic storm that we're going to be dealing with this week, as it's just going to have a combination. I mean, our forecast is so dynamic here in Minnesota. Well, today, nice day today, but tomorrow we're going to see rain, then thunderstorms, then rain again, then snow, then thunder snow. It's just chaos. And I love spring because of that reason. And then we have conditions improving out on the West Coast, but it's going to be chilly out on the West Coast as that cold air filters down out of Canada on the backside of our big low pressure center. Now that severe weather we're going to start to see tomorrow and tomorrow night. It's going to first start off in the plain states here through Nebraska and Kansas. We're going to be seeing an area of some severe thunderstorms possible with some large hail. An isolated tornado is possible with damaging winds that could gust to about 70 miles per hour. So be watching for those isolated and scattered thunderstorms through parts of the Central Plains as we move later in the week. And then on Friday, the party gets started for real. So now we have that big outbreak possible of severe thunderstorms through Illinois. How about that? Illinois, Missouri, Iowa, into parts of Wisconsin, southeastern Minnesota, Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, all the way down to Mississippi, Louisiana, and Arkansas, Texas, Oklahoma. 20 states can be dealing with some severe weather as we move toward the end of the week. So tornadoes, large tornadoes are going to be possible. Torrential rainfall with flash flooding, very large hail. Some folks can be seeing 2 to 3 inch diameter hail, winds up to 80 miles per hour with some of those severe thunderstorms. So this situation could be quite serious out there. So please, please pay attention to your local weather forecast and updates. We'll have storm chasers everywhere. Reed Timmer will be there. A lot of different folks who are famous in the storm chasing field will be there tracking these storms and relaying that information to the National Weather Service, getting those warnings out there, those watches posted. So it could be a very interesting time, especially on Friday. So a very interesting day. I'm going to be here. We're going to monitor what's happening. I'm going to pay close attention to what's going on throughout the Midwest and the Great Lakes. So we could be seeing some very interesting weather as we move on toward the end of the week. So we have a lot of winds to contend with as well. If you live in the Midwest, especially in the plains, you're used to it being windy. You know it can be quite windy if you're living in the Midwest or the plain states. So North Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, Nebraska, we will see those very high winds, and we will see winds approach 70 miles per hour through parts of eastern Kansas and northeastern Oklahoma. So Tulsa could see 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. I expect you to lose some power outages. Blowing dust is going to be a power problem as well. And we could see the potential for a fire danger. So we could see critical fire weather possible through parts of the southern plains as we head into your Friday period before those thunderstorms start to develop later in the day. But we're going to be dealing with those strong gusty winds. There is going to be a dry line in the area as well. So blowing dust is definitely going to be an issue. Elevated thunderstorms. So a lot of thunderstorms might be low precipitation, and you will see those columns of blowing dust. Gust nados could be possible. A very severe setup for the weather on Friday and into your Friday evening. So definitely going to be a lot to watch and a lot of activity going on with this storm. So that those winds will eventually make their way into the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes and parts of the mid-Atlantic states as we head into Friday night and Saturday. So we're going to be seeing those 70-mile-an-hour winds across the Ohio Valley predominantly. So western Pennsylvania, Ohio, eastern Indiana, West Virginia, western Virginia, and northern Kentucky, southwestern New York State. We really could see those 70-mile-an-hour winds. Other folks are going to be seeing 50 to 60 miles per hour winds as that area of low pressure moves on off toward the north. It's going to kind of slide its way into Canada with high pressure on this hill. So it's going to create quite the pressure gradient. So we're going to be seeing that sharp change in barometric pressure from one area to the next area. So those high winds are going to be the result of that activity. And thunderstorms will make its way to the east as well. On Saturday, we could be seeing some severe thunderstorms in the mid-Atlantic and in the Northeast for the first time this spring. So we're going to start to see the potential for some severe weather in the Northeast and the mid-Atlantic states, from North Carolina up to upstate New York, parts of Massachusetts, Rhode Island as well. We could be seeing that risk for severe thunderstorms with isolated tornadoes, large hail, damaging winds. Those gusts can be up to 70 miles per hour. So again, our very dynamic storm system is going to be headed off to the northeast and parts of the Great Lakes area the eastern Great Lakes as we get toward the weekend. And then here is our outlook for later in the week. There is our big Midwestern storm there. We see those windy conditions coming up from the southwest ahead of that cold front. We'll be seeing those high gusty winds, warm air coming up out of the south off of the Atlantic and the Gulf of Mexico. Our cold air coming down out of Canada, and we're going to be seeing a heavy snow across the plains, the high plains, the upper Great Lakes, and into Canada. We're going to be dealing with that wintry precipitation. So we have that battleground going on between that cold air in the north that wants to spill down. Remember, that cold air is heavier than that warm air, so that cold air wants to filter down out of Canada and invade the south, and we got that warm air that wants to invade to the north. That warm air is lighter, so that warm air will get lifted as it goes over that cold air that is filtering down. So we're going to get that warm air to lift, and we're going to get those clouds to form and thunderstorms. So we're going to be seeing a lot of thunderstorms because it's going to be a lot of pushback from that cold air to the north. So we're going to be seeing a very wild weather scenario set up this weekend, this later in the week and this weekend. Lots of rain, hail, dangerous lightning, tornadoes. It's going to be an interesting weekend, and I just hope and I pray to God that we don't see what we saw in Mississippi exactly a week ago when it gets to Friday. So I hope that we don't have the devastation that we saw across Mississippi. I think the severe weather threat will be much further to the north this go around, as this storm is taking aim at the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes. So again, here is that snow across Minnesota that we're seeing today, or not today, that we'll be seeing Thursday night and into Friday night. So Saturday, we're going to be seeing that heavy snow. Our low pressure center is going to, this is called a Colorado low because it rounds the base of the western trough and emerges over New Mexico and southern Colorado and heads off toward the Great Lakes. That's the classic Colorado low. And there it is as it's making its way over towards Michigan. And that's what we're going to be seeing from Friday and to Saturday morning. So in that 24-hour period, this is the distance that low is going to travel. Our deformation band of the cold air and snow will be to the northwest of the low. Our showers and thunderstorms will be down to the south. Now, what's interesting about this storm is what I can't wait to see is there is the potential right in this zone right here for thunder snow. So we could have thunderstorms that produce snow. So we're going to be watching that. And as this system makes its way to the northeast, we could be seeing about 6 to 12 inches of snow across much of the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes. Minneapolis, we're looking at about 8 inches of snow possibly. We're going to be seeing up to 12 inches of snow through parts of the Dakotas, and Wisconsin is going to get hit hard again from this storm. It got hit hard from another snowstorm about a few days ago that dropped 20 inches of snow in a 7-hour period. How about that? So a very active weather pattern that we're having right now. Interesting spring, to say the least, that we're going to be dealing with that wintry weather with thunder. So thunder snow, it's going to be quite interesting, as that's going to be making for some real travel delays. Airport issues, we'll see flight delays, cancellations. Highways issues will have heavy traffic, slippery roadways, rail traffic can be delayed as well. And if you're catching a bus somewhere, expect delays. So a very tricky situation. Plan accordingly. Pay attention to the weather forecast, everybody. Okay? All right. So when that storm makes its way into Canada, we're going to start to see a problem in the northeast. Blustery. It's going to be very, very windy. We're going to be seeing those 60-mile-an-hour winds throughout the northeast. But the other thing that's going to happen is snow squalls. So we have warm air trying to infiltrate from the south, and that cold air blasted in out of the north because of high pressure that's going to move into the Midwest, the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes. The low pressure will be to the north. That low pressure will have warm, cold winds blowing from the northwest, and a northwest wind will blow over the top of the ridge of high pressure. So they will converge into the northeast. So we're going to be seeing those winds from that high and that low converging and blasting out across the northeast and into New England. That's going to interact with warm air trying to rise up from the south. So that's going to cool the column and call instant freezing, or a flash freeze we call it, where that cold air is going to be so strong that that warmth is just going to collapse, and we're going to be seeing that cold air, and it's going to lead to snow squalls. These are going to be brief snow showers that are convective based because of that warm air lifting rapidly into the air and it cooling rapidly. So that is going to lead to snow squalls. These will be brief but really heavy snow showers that will blast through, and it can be sunny 1 minute, then it cloud up, and so you see a whiteout conditions, and then it's over. So these will can drop several inches of snow in just a few minutes, maybe 20 minutes time. You can get maybe 4 or 5 inches of snow in a very, very brief blast of heavy snow and wind. So it's going to be chaotic with this situation. So a very interesting weather scenario for that we're going to be seeing tonight across the Northeast with our low pressure center that's in place, and this afternoon and tonight. So watch for that across the Northeast this evening, okay? All right, so on Thursday, behind our low pressure that's going to be heading on off to the northeast, that high pressure is going to move in from the Midwest that I talked about. Remember how I said that high pressure is going to move in from the Midwest? So behind that low pressure, there's blustery northwest winds. So once all the snow is gone, then those winds are also going to move in again. The winds will increase on the backside of that low pressure. High pressure coming in from the southwest. That air flows this way around the high and this way around the low. So we're going to have what's called convergence right there again. Going to make for very breezy conditions, very windy, blustery. It's going to be really cold out there. So don't forget your winter jackets as you head on out to work tomorrow and school across the Northeast, okay? So this was the entertaining weather forecast to do for you guys because it's a lot going on with this forecast. My name is Mr. G. Thanks for watching. Please leave your likes, comments, and subscribe. Bye-bye.